SECC has partnership with many reputable entities, worldwide entities like CMMI Institute, ISACA, Open Group, PeopleCert, ISTQB, and others. Our achievement, we delivered 1,790 services, supported more than 965 companies. We did 150 CMMI appraisal, and this is a huge number to be done by a single entity. Our training department delivered training and exams for local and international certificates. We did exams for 15,160 plus. We had 9,480 plus certified professionals. We delivered training to more than 31,400 trainees. We deliver free webinars on bi-weekly basis for the latest technology trends. We had 6,770 plus webinar attendees. My name is Eng.Sally Hassan, quality expert at SECC. I have more than 25 years of experience in IT industry. I'm ITIL expert, certified to GAF, certified COVID, and ISO lead auditor for the standard related to information security. I managed about 4 projects of digital transformation and enterprise architecture in governmental sectors, universities, and private companies. Delivered more than 100 projects for process improvement and more than 100 successful training courses. Now I'm going to speak about DX for software. How do we thought about digital transformation for software companies? SECC was well known about its effort and its competitive advantage related to process improvement. By time, we found out that the process is not enough. We have to think about more aspects. We have to think in a way that is different than the way that we used to implement our services. In the digital transformation era, we found out that the software development companies need to be digitally transformed, need to have enterprise agility. So we thought about developing a reference architecture that is technology-enabled, capability-based, innovative reference architecture. By reference architecture, we mean a kind of a template that include the capabilities that should exist in a software development company to ensure that the company is capable and able to achieve its strategic objectives and to provide quality products and services. We need to have less focus on process and procedure, compliance and models, theoretical practices, and have more focus on performance and outcome, automation and integration, and make best use of disruptive technologies. We had to build this reference architecture to think capability-based rather than process definition-based. Actually, the capability way of thinking background was originated in the military sector, and it was widely spread across all industries. Even all the technologies and all the international best practice we use changed the way they talk about improving the companies to speak about capability building. The same like what we did. The first thing that we thought about is to have the capability map, which include all the capabilities that should exist in a software development company. So we had a committee and we thought about these capabilities. We did some grouping, having in mind our experience in CMMI. We had some supporting capabilities, some enabling capabilities, some capabilities related to planning and managing work, others related to engineering, others to ensuring quality. After developing this capability map, we thought that our target customers are not only software development companies. We have IT services organization, we have support organization, we have testing organization, and we have some organizations that only need to assess their DevOps implementation. So next action that we thought about having some constellation. If you have knowledge of our previous experience with CMMI, they thought in the same way. So we built our constellation. We have development constellation, and testing constellation is a subset of it. We have service constellation, and support constellation is a subset. And across, we have DevOps add-on. As you know, DevOps has some activities or capabilities related to development and other capabilities related to operation and support, so it is across. For each constellation, the capability has some kind of levels. We have basic capabilities to start with, then intermediate capabilities, then advanced capabilities. Right now, we already released the development constellation, and of course testing, and the development part of DevOps add-ons. These are already released and implemented in about 28 Egyptian companies. In these slides, we just represent what we mean by basic capabilities and intermediate and advanced. Maybe it's not clearly, and you can't read it clearly in this representation. So in next slide, basic capabilities include capabilities such as backlog development and management, sprint management, roadmap and release management, configuration management, test management, defect management, and experience-based testing. This is the start. Then we go to intermediate capabilities, which include solution design, code writing and refactoring, UX development, self-testing code, functional test automation, continuous integration, test design, collaborative peer review, code analysis, QA, virtual team collaboration, and product maintenance. The advanced capabilities are risk-based testing, performance testing, product security testing, continuous delivery, and risk management. For testing constellation, we had the capabilities related to the companies that only provide testing services. As you know, there are many companies in Egypt provide these services, especially in the digital transformation era and for applying these practices in the digitalization of government. So these are the capabilities for testing organizations. It's also have basic capabilities and intermediate and advanced. But as you probably noticed, some capabilities which we considered as intermediate in software development companies for testing, like test design, for testing companies, we consider it as basic capability. The same for risk-based testing. It is advanced capability in software development company, but if the company is specialized in software testing, we consider it as intermediate level capability. DevOps constellation include only intermediate and advanced level capabilities. As you know, DevOps, especially in Egypt, considered advanced capabilities. We are currently trying for implementing mature agile practices first to be able to implement DevOps. So we start with having the company completely implementing agile. Then next, we go for DevOps building capabilities. These are the DevOps add-ons capabilities: self-testing code, functional test automation, continuous integration, virtual team collaboration. And for advanced, we have the CD, continuous app monitoring, and ISE, infrastructure as a code. After defining the capability map, we started to define the capability. So we started with a layered diagram, which include the 4 dimensions of the TOGAF EDAT. TOGAF considered the capability, including 4 dimensions: business, data, application, and technology. For business, we represented by process and people. So in our layered diagram, we defined the processes, the actors, the application components, and the technology components. we added a fifth dimension for defining the capability, which is performance and outcome. I'll speak more and elaborate more about this dimension because it's very important. Having the capability diagram is not enough. We need to help companies to build these capabilities. So we develop a complete product to support achieving this objective. The capability diagram is the base. Then we had a wiki, which includes a detailed description for each box in the capability diagram, and some implementation hints and some guidance for the tools that can be used to build this capability, considering having some open source tool for the cost issues. We also have created a training library clustered around capabilities, and we built our assessment model to assess each dimension for each capability. This assessment model was built by our expert, by our lead appraisals, which have a great experience in CMMI appraisals and assessments. Business alignment. In our services, we had a challenge that companies are usually reluctant to invest in process improvement projects and initiatives because they can't realize the direct impact or ROI on their business and achieving their strategic objectives. So we thought that we must make a clear alignment between each capability we want to build and how much it affects achieving the strategic objectives. We have the business strategy and we have the reference architecture, and we need to make this linkage between the capabilities and achieving the business strategy. In this area, we used our experience in Kpis goals cascade, and we made a kind of traceability between each capability and how it impacts achieving operational goals, enterprise goals, and by balanced scorecards, we mean strategic goals. In the next slides, we have some examples to elaborate more about this business alignment because it's very important. Balanced scorecard dimension represents the strategic aspects, and it's categorized, as you know, in 4 pillars: customer, financial, internal process, learning, and growth. Then we cascaded 2 enterprise goals: profit, cost, knowledge, innovation. And for the operational goals, it go more into operational activities. So we speak about lead time, defect rate, productivity, availability, failure rate, and the capabilities are linked by all these kinds of goals. When we go to company for implementation, some companies does not have clear strategy, or they not structured their strategy in such a way. So we understand their strategy, even if it is not clearly documented or officially documented, and we try to represent it in this way, help companies to present it in this way, to support management and decision makers to prioritize the capabilities to be built. Example of the KPIs we develop for each capability. Each capability has lead and lag metrics that can be linked, as I mentioned earlier, to operational goals, enterprise goals, and strategic goals. Here we have some examples. For example, for balanced scorecard dimension financial, they may have an enterprise goal for a cost reduction. Then they cascaded to cost control and to improve the team productivity. We can link this to capability KPIs for release cost variance and sprint velocity, which are related to roadmap release and release management plus sprint management. This is the way we prioritize or set the roadmap for the capabilities to be built based on the strategic objective of each company. We deliver our services related to DX for software by the following roadmap. First, we start with baseline assessment to understand the current capability level and the current pain areas, and the challenges for the organization. Then the baseline assessment output, as we will see in the next slide, include a roadmap for the capabilities to be built. Accordingly, we set a plan with the company and provide them with training, consultation, and after consultation, we make final assessment to measure the improvement effort results and the impact on achieving the organization goals. The service timeline is 6 months. The baseline assessment is conducted within 1 month. Actually, it consumes 3 working days, but it might be over 1 month from contracting. Then the training is 3 days in 1 week. We have 2 hours training per each capability. In the training, we only introduce the basic concepts, but the detail we provide during the consultation activity because it should be tailored to the context of the organization. Then we have about 12 consultation visits, around 4 months, and the final assessment is conducted in 2 days in the last month of the 6 months. Some companies ask to start the training and consultation activity directly without having the baseline assessment, and they don't see much value for this assessment effort in the beginning. They always say, let's start from scratch. This is why we try to explain the objective of the assessment and how much it is beneficial to the organization. The assessment objective is to provide the sponsor and the company staff with a clear picture of the current capability level to start their action plan towards achieving their targets. We assess this with reference to the X4 software reference architecture, and this enables SECC to have understanding for the practices and capability level across the community. This will shape us our next services that we are developing or in our pipeline. The roadmap we defined during the assessment support the organization to achieve its business objectives, cost effectiveness by following digital transformation trends, building critical capabilities, support development or testing, and optimizing resource allocation and utilization. In Egyptian companies, we have challenges related to availing resources and having optimum utilization of resources. This is a typical challenge in all companies we provide services to. So the X4 software support achieving this objective and considered in defining the roadmap. Assessment duration, as I told you, is 3 working days. The participants in the assessment, usually we have an interview with the sponsor, about 2 hours. We interview the product owner, Scrum Master, developing and testing team leaders, DevOps teams, configuration controllers, IT team representatives, and the techniques we use include interviews, document reviews, and of course, tool reviews. Most of the companies currently use tools. And observation. We might find an observation during conducting the assessment related to communication issues, resource utilization, planning, management approaches. We might have some observation and we list it in our findings. The assessment report includes the business objectives as we understand from the sponsor and pain areas. Then we list our findings. First, we list our generic findings, which include strengths and weaknesses for the organization. Then we list the company findings for each capability for the 5 dimensions and provide a radar diagram that elaborates the capability level for each dimension and set our recommendation for improvement. The final slides include the improvement roadmap proposed from our side. And of course, the final roadmap is agreed upon with the company management and company representatives. That's all. Questions? Do you have any questions?
It's a great step, to make the companies. I think it's a great step to make the companies aware about the new technology, about the software development of the future. I have only one question. I saw the KPI. So do you implement CMMI when you have the capabilities, or you develop yourself these capabilities?
Of course, we had CMMI in our mind, our experience in CMMI and in Agile implementation and DevOps implementation, and we built the capabilities based on all of these. As you know, CMMI tell us what to do without telling us how to do it. In capability building, we thought about how to do it. So we give them some hints about the tools to be used, the technologies to be used, the process steps to be followed. This is more details, and by implementing this will enable the company to achieve CMMI.
And the last one, I think I have a loud voice. How you measure the KPIs, because they can vary. How you say, as a company, as a whole, you are performing well. There are some hints that you can give us about it.
About measuring the KPIs?
About the level of the implementation of the capabilities, because they can vary.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have an average, let's say, level when you say, okay, you are good because you can improve in different areas, but not in total?
Actually, we have this measured per capability, and they can cascade it to all the level of goals. But we consider that the result is stable when it lasts for 3 months. This will make us more make us sure that these numbers are okay and it will continue.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have الناس ممكن تخلي المايك. Thank you, Eng.Sally, for this introduction about SECC. My name is Ahmed Elboua. I'm Vice President of Kpis Tech Software Development Company. Actually, I have a couple of questions about SECC services. So the main question is about the team size, or the minimum team size that is like eligible for introducing SECC services, about the training and the assessment and so on. And the second question is about, what about if I don't need to implement like the KPIs using like CMMI methodology and modeling? I need just to implement that using Agile. And what if, sorry, I have a lot of questions. The last thing is, what if I have already implemented a lot of these practices, and I need more like organizing for those practices? I mean, thank you so much.
Generally, we provide our services for small and medium companies. Small companies start with 10 employees and more. But in some cases, we found some micro companies, which are less than 10 employees, are very much keen to improve their performance and ask to have our services. So we make an introductory visit to this company to assess its current situation and to see and to make sure that they are capable to receive our services. So the standard is to provide the services for small and medium companies. As for the training, in the training department, we deliver it to any company and even for individuals. It's already available. In your case, you mentioned that you have some practices and you're not sure about their capability level, and you need to institutionalize the implementation. This is why we ask for the assessment. We need to understand the current level for each practice and capability, and accordingly decide about the next step. By the way, you're not obliged to go for CMMI certification. The objective of this is to improve your performance. So you can go for implementing Agile and DevOps without going for CMMI appraisal or certification.
Thank you very much. I'm very much aware of SECC effort to improve software industry, but this is just a general question of how you see the industry progressing and improving, especially with the brain drain, with huge numbers of developers leaving to Germany or US, etc.
سؤال سياسي ده عايز إجابة سياسية. Actually, the Egyptian companies have a challenge related to resources availability, and the qualified resources usually go to Germany and other companies. They also have other challenge related to the resources prefer to go for freelancing job and not prefer for having a full-time employee, to be a full-time employee. And they also have other challenges related to having qualified resources available. I agree that Egyptian companies have all these challenges. They are trying to build some, let's say, some academies in their companies, small academies. I saw this idea in multiple companies, to have the students from the university as a trainees, and they try to train them and build the capabilities in these students, and then having them as a full-time employee when they graduated. They stay for 1 year, 2 years maximum, and then they go to international companies or go to other countries. Still, it is a challenge. We're trying from our side as ITIDA to provide awareness and to build capabilities in more resources to support having this problem solved. But still, it's a challenge. From business perspective, currently all companies are trying to be engaged in digital transformation projects with the government. So it's an opportunity for Egyptian companies, but the challenge is the quality of products and services they provide. The digital transformation in the government, as you know, cannot permit a poor quality products or services. So the challenge with the companies that provide, to be able to provide quality products is high, and these companies in our community is few that can provide the required quality level. This is why we are trying to support companies with this initiative. Support them to improve the quality. It's planned to have this reference architecture as a base to assess companies that participate in governmental projects. It's already planned and under discussion. And also support them to build the capabilities of their human resources. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Sally, for your presentation.